Citizen Science Wetlands Restoration Project. William Hovey Smith, 2014. Now this Kickstarter appeal goes from May 1 to May 31.
I'm Hovey Smith, a backyard sportsman, and I would like to tell you about a Kickstarter project that I have started to help preserve the nation's and world's wetlands. I'm a professional geologist, and I have degrees from the University of Georgia and the University of Alaska, and also studied at the University of Arizona and the University of Arkansas. And we have witnessed as geologists the steady degradation of the coastal wetlands of the U.S. and elsewhere. The hurricanes Katrina and Rita brought enormous destruction and focused more attention on the coast. The coast is increasingly imperiled because things like oyster banks, which once naturally existed, and cypress-covered offshore islands, well, quite frankly, they're gone. The trees were cut centuries ago, and the oyster beds were pulled up and dredged up. Yeah, they're gone too. So consequently, we need to do something to help out. Well, there are large numbers of natural materials that we throw away every day as waste products that maybe might be used. Among them are glass bottles like I have a group of over here. These are regularly shaped, they're dense, they're relatively inert, and once you sink them down there in the soils, they pretty much stay there. All right. Well, they do float. Okay, what do we do about that? Well, we have a glass bottle. This is a typical wine bottle. We have a funnel, and we have sand. Now, this is interesting sand. It's actually from an ancient Eocene beach that existed right here in central Georgia. And as you see, it pours very nicely into the bottle. All right. And as it does, it increases the density of the bottle to the extent that it will certainly not float. No, it ain't going nowhere. So, the idea is you take a bottle, you fill it full of sand to increase the density, and you put a stopper in it. Well, what kind of stopper? Well, we're going to use paper. Wool. Why paper? Because it's biodegradable. Once we have the bottles filled, we'll go ahead and put them in a polymer bag or some sort of bag and link these bags together and put them down in strips on the ocean floor. A little hole in the top, that's no problem. Take our piece of paper. All right. And now you have a stopper. Now once the stopper degrades here, critters can use this space for shelter as well as for laying eggs. All right. Now one of the real problems with this is getting bags these days. Here's a present fruit bag, and look what they've done with it. They put plastic on it. Yeah. Bad from an ecological point of view. And in addition, these bags are not particularly strong. Okay, so we need a stronger bag and hopefully made out of natural materials. Time was there were bags made out of jute and hemp. I haven't seen a croaker sack, that's what we call them in the South, for decades now. Originally, ropes and other things were made of human and animal hairs, particularly horsehair. Maybe we can reclaim some of that technology and actually make bags out of natural fibers so we can put our bottles in them and sink them. Now once you take your bottles and you interlace them back and forth across the ocean floor, they settle down and you form a hard substrate. Then some interesting things start to happen. You have oysters that will come in and colonize on these hard substrates. And they grow and they add weight as well as strengthen the entire structure. Now, following the oysters, you have many other kinds of critters that are attractive too. Crabs will come in. Oh, they love these places between these bottles. Plus, small fish come in. These attract larger fish. And so, these become prime fishing grounds. All right. And once you get the barriers established somewhat, behind them, quieter waters occur. And then sediments will start to settle down, and you'll actually start to build up the marsh again. So this is how this can work to protect coastal wetlands in cities like New Orleans and even New York for that matter. Because these barriers out front will help absorb some of the energy from storm waves. Flexible barriers are useful because they sort of have some give and take, and they absorb a lot of energy. Something that doesn't happen with card-built structures, for example, that they just take the full impact. And as such, they don't tend to last as well as some things that have some flex with them. Now, we found this out, of course, with earthquakes in buildings. Buildings have to be able to sway when they have an earthquake. Otherwise, if they're solid stone and rigid, they have to come down or be severely damaged. We have found this out many, many times. So a little flex in a structure, that's a good thing. Now, I will be presenting a poster at the CEER Conference 214 in New Orleans. And what this stands for is Coastal Ecological and Ecosystem Restoration. Now, it takes money to go to these conferences, of course. The conference fees are expensive. And to stay 6 days in New Orleans through the entire thing is, it gets quite costly. So consequently, I can use a little help. So that's the reason for this Kickstarter project. Now, the critical thing about my project is not so much my use of these outlandishly shaped bottles. It is launching a worldwide citizen science investigative project to look at this technology and see what they can use from their environments that is now waste materials that might be used to form protective barriers. This might be concrete block, for example. Is it painted? Is it toxic? Can we use it? Can we not use it? Do we need to put it in containers? Can it just be laid down in strips, which works best, and so on? Another investigative approach that I have mentioned is, can we make these barriers out of some sort of natural product? Can we do that? Horsehair? Human hair? What? Yeah! Can we do these things? Okay, that's another line. Now, once these barriers are in place by groups of people or individuals, they will observe these and report their results back to a centralized database. This will be tabulated and reported quarterly and made available to researchers worldwide. This way, small groups, school groups even, home study groups, can make a contribution to world science that might really matter. The nice thing about having school children work on a project like this is they are completely uninhibited. And they might well come up with some real solutions that can be applied to solve a serious problem. This is real science. So they can participate, as can anyone else, by placing small structures on private lands and just observing the results and reporting them back. I hope you'll be able to support this project. You'll be able to make a pledge through Kickstarter, and there will be information on that following this presentation. Now, one thing about Kickstarter is you will not be billed on your credit card unless this project is fully funded. So I really hope you can help out. Thank you very much, and maybe I'll even see you in New Orleans. But
to make a pledge to this project, go to www.kickstarter.com and you can search for Hovey Smith Citizen, and that will bring up the project. Or you may cut and paste this URL to your browser. No credit card will be charged unless the full amount of the appeal is raised. Now, you can help the world's coastal environment, and even $1 can make a difference. Goodbye, and God bless.